Hello everyone, it's Ink here. And what's this? This isn't Sins of a Solar Empire. You're correct. As promised, we are playing Battlefleet Gothic Armada. Now, it's been a while since I played this. It's been about a year, in fact. But I was really into it for a while. Because it's a good game, it's really interesting, and I highly recommend that you guys try it out if you haven't. But, in case you're not convinced just from the recommendation, we're going to take a quick look over it. Now this is going to be like a prototype video, just to see how it feels, see what everyone thinks, and we'll see what happens from there. But for this, we're going to be playing skirmish mode, just against the AI, as Chaos. And we're a fresh level 1 fleet. There is progression, which in some modes. But specifically in this case, that means we just have 3 Mark II Hellbringer light cruisers available for our fleet. So, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, we can cover that later. For the moment, we're going to just go ahead and go straight to battle. Now, there is a custom game mode where you can pick fleets exactly and choose game modes and maps and all that sort of thing in a very controlled fashion. But in the skirmish and multiplayer modes, not so much. You instead have randomized stuff. So we're going to be up against the Space Marines today, and we have a fixed limit on our fleet. We can only get 2 of our cruisers in, and we can't even fit any escorts. And there's a good reason why things are limited like this. But for the moment, we're just going to go straight in. Both these ships are identical. We have them outfitted with auger probes, which are long-range scanning devices, and they have heavy turrets and lance batteries, which I'll explain about as we go along. So, ready up, here we go. Now, you may, if you've played the Total War series, you may notice some interesting parallels. For example, you have to pick exactly where you're going to set up your fleets in advance before everything kicks off. Normally there'll be a time limit on this if this was multiplayer, but it isn't, so it doesn't really care. So, we have our 2 cruisers there. I'm going to go ahead and bind those to Group 1. And then we're going to take a quick look at how all of our weapons are laid out. So, these light cruisers have heavy macro turrets, which fire in the forward 270 degrees, and have a range of 9,000 meters. 9,000 meters, 9,000 kilometers? A range of 9,000, it's not really specified. I would guess it's 9,000 meters. And we have lance batteries, which only fire on the broadsides, but have a range of 12,000. You can see here by the engagement commands, they will try to engage on the broadside, and they will try to maintain a range of 12,000 to make the most use out of their lances. That's fine by me, and we're going to work with that. Let's go ahead and ready up, and we can see that we have 4 enemy ships to destroy. So, if we take a quick look, I'm actually going to rotate the camera view around, because it always messes with my head looking at the minimap if I'm upside down. So we have 1 ship over here, 1 ship here, 1 ship here, and they have launched an auger probe. So we're going to just alter course so we don't get picked up by that. Detection is kind of a big thing, because you can't fire at something if you haven't detected it. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and launch one of our own auger probes. So this range around here, this is 6,000 meters. This is a representation of... oh, there's the other ship. This is a representation of just how far we can detect ships. Which means that even though we can fire at twice that range, we can't fire at them unless we've actually narrowed them in. So here we go, we have located a Space Marine Hunter class destroyer. And that's gone on full, all head full. Yeah. You can see that that's open fire. Well, we've opened fire with our lance batteries, and our macro cannons are firing in as well. And we've been identified, so now the Space Marines can start firing on us as well. You can see here that it has activated one of its orders, brace for impact. Okay, we've got another hunter class here. Okay. Quick. You can slow down time, which is kind of important at times for stuff like that. Those torpedoes would have hit like a truck. As it was... Oh, nope, we ate both of those. Okay, turn off the auto lock. And we've rammed that destroyer. Now this is on brace for impact, which means it takes way less damage. And we'll just kill that. So that only goes so far. Here we go. Okay, so we have another Hunter class destroyer. Now these are tiny dinky little ships. I rarely bother with escorts, to be honest. Okay, so this is where things get a little interesting. So our shields are down there. That's the blue bar. Shields slowly regenerate. Okay, I'm not doing a great job of explaining stuff here because this is a relatively fast-paced game. But once your shields are down, then you start damaging hull, and that gets dangerous. Okay, we're going to go ahead and activate lock-on commands, which will increase our damage output and increase the chances of getting critical hits. Now, critical hits are kind of a big deal. What we want to do in this case is we want to take out the cruiser's engines. Basically creates something which just can randomly happen. There are ways to make it more likely. In the meantime, we have taken some damage, so we're going to use emergency repairs, which will take away the critical damage we took and allow us to use our special orders again. And it also does a little bit of hull heal. And we're just going to keep looping around. Now, Space Marines' big gimmick is that they're really tough and they're really good at boarding. So you can see these little swarm over here, attempting to board and cause damage, which didn't really do anything, so I'm not super worried. Chaos's thing is that they are good at kiting. They're pretty fast. They're not super tough, but they're reasonably tough, and they have a lot of really long-range weapons, particularly our lance batteries. So we're just moving around, and this isn't super super subtle. We just had way more firepower than they did, and they split up. This is the problem with escorts. They die really quickly. There are like 1 or 2 escorts which are worth having. Generally, I don't get them, even if I have space for them. But yes, we win. And there wasn't, like I said, there wasn't much subtle to that fight. Hopefully we're going to get something a little more tactical, which I can do a little more explaining over. That gives you an idea of at least the pace and the feel of the game. There we go. So, we got ranks on both of our cruisers. We got a victory, so we earned renown, which we can use to upgrade our fleet. So let's take a look at what we've got out of that. Loading screens. Okay. So, we are halfway to fleet level 2, which will unlock, among other things, a cruiser for us. But let's take a quick look at what we have. So, first things first, when you gain a level, you gain some points which you can throw into your crew. So, each of these do different things. I've got demonic influence, which reduces the chance of insubordination. If something goes insubordinate, then it'll try to run away and start defying your orders. Dark Navigator, this is about disengagement. because sometimes you do want to just... Discretion can be the better part of valor, because this is something which I was going to explain later, but we didn't actually use anything. Damage is persistent. If your ship goes below half health, then it's going to be damaged, and you won't be able to use it for the next battle unless you basically speed up the repairs. If you lose it, then you lose it for 2 battles. If you tell something to disengage and it gets lost in the warp, which is a thing over here, then you lose it for a battle. So you need to have a reasonably balanced fleet with plenty of backups available. This is why, even though I have 3 ships, the rank 1 battles which I can get into, I can use at most 2 of these. So this is repairs. Okay, this is the one we want. Possessed gunners. So a boost to critical chance, overlances, and macro weapons. Lovely. Then over here we've got cultists, which improves the troop value, which makes us more resistant to boarding. Slaves reduces the cooldown of all skills. And then over here, with one which we don't have, because this doesn't have hangar bays, this improves our strikecraft. Chaos like their strikecraft. I don't have any hangar ships here, but they do have some nice ones. Including a Hellbringer variant, in fact. But we've got our crew upgrades there, and now we can get some ship upgrades. So there's a lot available around here. Now, the big thing with these Hellbringer Mark IIs is that they basically support snipers. At low-level battles, they're all you have, so things blur a little bit, but later on, when you're starting to throw on cruisers and battle cruisers, these just sit around the edges and snipe at people. Let's try and find ways to make the most of that. So here's an option, targeting matrix. We can make our macro cannons more accurate at long range. These lance batteries here, these basically always hit, but the macro cannons aren't so lucky. The macro cannons do more damage overall, it's just that the lances are better at piercing armor, so all the different weapon systems have their own specific gimmicks. So we've got that. We can boost the range on lances, so these actually go up to 15 kilometers. Lock on. Lances' chance of dealing critical damage are doubled. That's nice. Boosted damage against shields. Boosted range of macro weapons, so that actually will boost these up to 12 kilometers, so we can fire everything at maximum range. This is a boost to lightning strike, which is a boarding option, which is kind of we're not going to be doing too much of that with these. Armor piercing ammunition. Our macro cannons become more effective at close range, but we really don't want to be at close range. This is a squadron upgrade, so we don't really care. Okay, so let's just go through things quickly. Shorter fires. Okay, detection range. Cog data lengths. Special orders. Nope. Nope. Do. Okay, what I think we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab overload generator. Just make the most of those lance batteries. Make them really hurt. Okay, cool. So that's our first battle, our first victory. Let's go ahead and head to the next one. See if we get something a little more challenging. Now, in terms of other modes in this game, like I said, there is custom battles, which lets you tinker pretty much everything. You can do this both single player and multiplayer. There are 2 forms of competitive multiplayer. There is persistent, where you have to build up a fleet over time, and there is okay, Space Marines again. So let's go ahead and just bring our experienced ships in. And there's ranked, where you basically start off with a maximum level fleet, build it together, and then you play a best of 3 round against someone else. And then there's skirmish, which I'm playing, and there is a campaign, which I may look into. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so let's go into a little more detail about what we're doing. So, something which we didn't really cover last time because there weren't a great deal on the map, but we have space terrain to deal with. Okay, advance. We have 4 ships to destroy again, so that's probably going to be the same loadout. 1 light cruiser and the 3 escorts. But these here are gas clouds. If we go in them, then people can't see us. And more than that, they actually lose their lock onto us. So, ideally, if you want to kite someone, then you don't want to be detected, and there are ways to force people to lose their lock onto you. What the hell was that? Something blew up. Maybe they ran into a minefield? I don't know. Minefields are a thing. The AI can be a little stupid sometimes. But in the meantime, I'm going to drop one auger probe over here, and drop the other one over here. And we're going to divert course into this gas cloud, and see if we can do some fun stuff from there. Okay, so over here we have... Okay, this is a Nova class destroyer. There's a that's a Hunter class destroyer. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and lock on for both of our ships. Just try and get some nice early damage. Okay, so that's out of fire, so that's going to take some damage over time. Fires are kind of terrifying. You can see that that's using Brace for Impact. Okay. And we still have this Space Marine light cruiser over here doing something. We've taken out one of their escorts, working on the next one. Yeah, here we go. Vanguard Mark III. Vanguard Mark III? It must have been added in since I last played. There were only 2 Vanguards last I saw. Okay, well, let's keep moving. Fire on board, yeah, that's gonna die. So, focus fire on our friend over here. And we're going to lock weapons onto their weapon systems. So, critical hits are more likely to do stuff there. And we want to board. Okay, so our engine's been damaged by the Space Marine Thunderhawks. But I'm not super worried about that. It's kind of annoying, but we will live. In the meantime, got another boarding action. There we go. I'm going to set those to autocast. That is something very handy. Okay, and we have a fire set over there. Belt armor destroyed. Okay, so this thing actually had belt armor, which means that it ignores the first big crit it takes. So the next crit we do, we'll start doing some real damage. Okay, so we've actually lost a weapon here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and repair to get everything active again. Okay, and lock on. And yeah, that's about to die horribly. Because even if it tried to disengage now, I'd be able to just kill it. Yep, there we go. So, another nice easy victory. But that should get us enough experience to hit rank 2, which unlocks cruisers, larger battles, and things will start getting a little bit more interesting. Now there's, when you're at light cruiser level, there's not a great deal of subtlety. All the factions get like 2 different light cruiser variants. Orcs you can technically build like 3 or 4 because orc ships are modular. But fundamentally, you've got a couple of variations which function very similarly. It's just like one weapon system different. So in the case of Chaos, you have the Hellbringer Mark I, which has launch bays, and the Hellbringer Mark II, which replaces those with the lance batteries. So you've got a few differences in the way that you play, but for the most part it's going to be the same. But once you get to cruiser level, it starts getting a lot more interesting. Let's go ahead and unlock our cruiser slot, and add one. So we've got 4 different cruisers, all of which function very differently. We have the Devastation, which is our carrier. We've got the Murder, which is a kind of a mid-range brawler, which uses prow lancers and long-range macro batteries. We have the Carnage, which uses it's kind of a shorter range brawler. Doesn't have quite as much outright firepower, and it doesn't have the prow lance as the Murder, but it still has a fair amount to it. And then you have the Slaughter, which has a lot of interesting weapons. It has a mixture of macro batteries and lancers. It has these twin-linked batteries, which basically provide both. It doesn't have as much outright firepower as some of the others, but it has a speed of 225, which is faster than any of these. Just to put that into context, that's actually the same speed as a light cruiser. The Slaughter is really agile, and it's the shortest ranged. I believe that all of these weapons have a maximum range of 6,000, so this is a brawler in a fleet where most of the emphasis is on longer range stuff, but I like unconventional builds with chaos, so we're going to go ahead and grab a Slaughter. There we go, lovely. Now we can get a couple of skills for this. Skills we are going to get. Let's see, we can do Micro Warp Jump, we can do Auger Probe, Recon Beacon, Void Shield Transfer, Rally, Stasis Bomb, Auger Disruptor, Plasma Bomb, Disruption Bomb, Emergency Capacitor, and Supercharged Void Shield. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Supercharged Void Shield, because a period of invulnerability is always nice. And I'm going to grab the Micro Warp Jump, because teleporting is always fun. And that's all we can do for now. We need to get some experience on this before we go any further, so let's go ahead and do that. So, I think this will probably be the last battle for this video. That'll get me nicely warmed up, give all of you guys a bit of a feel for the game, and then, if and when I continue with this, then I will be doing something a little bit more in depth. I'm not sure whether that'll be multiplayer or campaign mode, we'll see. Okay, so we're up against Chaos this time, a little bit of a mirror match, and we are playing Convoy. Oh boy. So this is going to be... Oh, and this is Solar Eruption. Ships without shields take 1 hull damage per second. Shield regeneration is allowed. Oh boy. That's exciting. Alright, so we can only fit 2 ships in. So we're going to go ahead and just grab our Slaughter and one of our ranked up Hellbringers. And we could take an escort ship, but honestly, there's no point. They're not going to make much of a difference in a convoy ride. So, convoy missions, the defending player has to escort a convoy to the other side of the map. The attacking player has to kill a certain number of the transport ships. There we go. Yes, these are transport ships with massive chains lining them. Don't ask me to explain, it's chaos, and this is Warhammer 40,000. Okay, so, you can see that we have our deployment zone here. We have the place where the enemy is trying to get to up there, and we have the enemy deployment zone over here. So we're actually going to split up our ships a little bit. Lovely. Okay, so let's see. They actually engaged their engines right away, which means we know exactly where to go for. We only need to kill 2 of these transport ships. The third one doesn't really matter. Okay. Hello, that's a minefield. Okay, let's drop out our auger probe. Oh boy. I could do without that. Yeah, that's a stasis bomb, so we're just locked in place for a moment. So, that's an enemy Hellbringer. Oh boy. Going to kick in our main engines. Hull breach, I could do without that. Okay. So there's actually a really easy way to win this battle. Ramming speed. There we go. Okay. Kicking in the repairs. Okay, so I've just got this escort over here to wipe out. We've got a bit of a sniping match between these two, but it's bored. Okay, there we go. There goes the other convoy. There goes the other transport, and we're done. A lot of people complain about convoy mode because, depending on the fleets, it can be really one-sided. Chaos is pretty good at convoy mode. Eldar are terrifying. Like, it's virtually impossible to win against an Eldar attacker in convoy mode, because Eldar are really fast. I mean, they are space elves, so that kind of goes without saying. But we win. Because we get bonus renown points there, because that's 40 points we didn't spend on other ships, so that's another reason to not fill up on escorts. It's like, we get more of a reward, and the escorts honestly aren't going to do much anyway. Alright, so let's go ahead and go back to the fleet screen, and just work on things from there. Get our upgrades done, and then we will close up. Okay. So yeah, there are a total of 6 factions in this game, 4 plus 2 DLCs. I got both DLCs because I got the game early, and they gave them out early. They basically gave them out for free to early adopters, so makes me happy. But we're going to go ahead and grab the Possessed Gunner, and over here on upgrades, we are going to grab armor-piercing ammunition, because this is a brawler ship. So, a debuff to enemy armor is always going to be nice. There we go. So, oh, and we have some more crew here, so I'll kind of go ahead and get another rank there. So yes, this is Battlefleet Gothic Armada. It's very tactical. It combines fast-paced with slow. You generally have to juggle a lot of things at once. You've got to make sure that your ships are moving in the right direction and doing the right things. And it's a lot of fun. So I recommend that you give it a try if you have any interest in what you've seen here. And otherwise, I'll be doing more Battlefleet Gothic at some point. I'm not entirely sure when. I'm not sure if this is going to become a second ongoing series, or if it's going to get thrown in from time to time with my marathons, because I mean, technically I still have Stellaris to do, so bear with me a little on that. But in the meantime, I have been Ink. If you've enjoyed this, then like, subscribe, leave a comment, all the usual YouTube stuff. And I will see you in the next video. I'm stealing lines from other people. Yep. Stay safe, folks.